Welcome back to Trading 360. I'm Nicole Petalides. Time for the big three. 3 stocks, 3 charts, 3 trades. Ben Lichtenstein will take us through the charts. Here to take us through the trades, Alan Nuckman, Chief Market Strategist at bullseyeoption.com. Great to see you both. So, Alan, how do you feel about 2024?
I'm working this week, but I guess people are getting back into it a little bit. So money never sleeps is what I say. But we had a great year, obviously. We've seen a little bit of profit taking now. I do have a couple things to say as your resident bull market genius that I want to remind everyone, and I'm happy to talk to Ben, because if you haven't been long, you've been wrong.
Whoa, if you haven't been long, you've been wrong. That's the statement. I love it. Ben will have a comment on that in a moment. Occidental Petroleum is your first name here you're watching. Alan, what is it that stands out to you?
Well, these 3 plays are pretty vanilla, but they're all risk-reward plays. If you look at OXY, it's been between 55 and 65 for a year, going nowhere sideways. We're right here at this midpoint of the range, and a pop to that range top targets a breakout up to 75. We're above the 200-day moving average here. The PE on this stock is 13. It's kind of lost some of its shine. But you just talked about gas. I got 241 driving through Wisconsin to come up here to Upper Michigan. So, you know, the gas is out there cheap, but I think, you know, that people are a little bit spoiled and it's not going to last. And I think everybody's expecting, you know, the price less. There's too many variables that can give crude oil a price pop, and these guys know how to make money no matter what. So the way I'm looking to play here is the April 55 call. Again, they had bullish divergence, made new lows in December, but not new highs in implied volatility. That's a sign of a sentiment shift. The 55 call, trading for about 7 or so. It's, you know, $5 and some in the money. It's got 4 months of time. Again, that low is 55. So gives you the right to be long from that lower level. And let's put this out there. The PE is 13. I know, technicals are all we talk about, but it does tell me that the oil companies have a lot of upside.
Right, understood. All right. Ben, what do you think here?
Well, I'd have to agree with the bullishness in terms of what we're seeing with shares of OXY. We've got that on multiple time frames playing out here, and I think we're going to start to see a bit of a pattern develop in terms of the 3 names we're going to look at here today. Let's begin with the hourly time frame. Take a snapshot of this chart here and remember it, because we're going to talk about this pattern a lot today. High conviction to the upside. You see that on the left side of the screen from we're talking down around 55 all the way up and through the $60 level, topping out around 62 and consolidating sideways since. Again, as mentioned, this is a very bullish pattern. We're looking at a 60-minute candle chart. You can see the vertical conviction on the left side of your screen and the horizontal development, the acceptance of that big move up here, currently bouncing around 60. Now, let's take a step back, because as we do, and look at a daily candle chart, almost an identical pattern, right? So again, remember this. Take a snapshot. We're going to talk about this a lot today. I want to show you here again, conviction on the left side of your screen, the beginning of 2022, February, March, April, May. Since June, July of 2022 and all throughout last year, we've been sideways, and in this instance, we're talking around 65 on the daily candle chart. Another step back shows how this really starts to stack up here. When you go all the way back to the fall of 2020, you're going to see that pattern repeat itself multiple times. This provides the longs opportunities to try and participate to the upside in terms of this trend higher. Whoops, let me just clean this up here a bit. But basically, you can see, again, these really well-defined areas of consolidation here, Nicole, that gets separated by the vertical conviction. And then again here, just consolidation, wash, rinse, repeat. So we're seeing this play out here, bullish, bullish, bullish across multiple time frames here on shares of OXY.
All right. And you said we're going to be seeing some of these patterns. Alan, final thought on this one.
Well, it's just a simple play that gives you the right to be long from the low for the year. And I love that bottoming pattern that we've seen over and over and over again, the sign when the stock is ready to pop. And that's what we're looking for with an option with, 4 months of time for things to develop and a modest move in the underlying stock, produce big gains in these options the way I like to play.
All right. Next up, you have General Motors. Your thoughts there?
Well, let's rewind. Hopefully you guys got a recording machine so we can go back to our last appearance. We had a little tussle about Ford. So this one's about GM. Ford had a nice little bottom and a nice little pop here. So if you look at GM, you've got a PE of 4. This is a ridiculously inexpensive stock from those terms, and that's how stocks are truly priced when you come down to it. It's been between 30 and 40 for the last year, so we're at the 35 pivot right now, just a little bit above it, and we're unchanged in 2023. So again, it has some price pop potential in the fact that it's another stock that has not moved in a year of big movers. I also see my leverage buying that I also saw in OXY, where the people are accumulating long options, which is a very positive sign, and use that as a good indicator, and that bullish divergence on that November low. So there's a lot to look at there. I'm buying a little less time. I'm buying the March option here, the March 32 calls trading at 450, and it's $4 in the money. So the expiration break even is 50 cents with a little bit less than 3 months of time. It is 50% off the 2022 top, so we've got a lot of positive risk reward, and it was essentially unchanged in 2023. And like I said, I'm looking for some of these laggard stocks to start to play ball.
Okay. What do you think? We have to go back to the videotape. But what do you think here, Ben?
Well, I don't think we have to go back to the videotape. Let's just go back to the chart, because if I remember, Alan was talking about some upside potential, which we did experience, but I also remember talking about that 13 level is the key area to watch, and I've got the forward chart here just to kind of rewind that tape, and look where we are rolling off of just by a happen chance, 13. So yeah, I think Alan was looking for this move up, but on that longer term trend, for me, what I'm seeing is it still remains to the downside. Take out 10 and look out, because we'll be making new lows again here, in my opinion. But getting back to GM here, a similar pattern as I mentioned. We've got hourly candles here, bullish, high conviction on the left side of your screen. And as we take a look here, you can see sideways consolidation throughout over the last few weeks, really, mostly around this $36 level. So acceptance of the run-up that we saw in this as this area of value forms. And take a look, because this is just one of multiple areas of value that formed along the way up here. We've got a 30-minute candle chart here, but we're going all the way back to the lows that we saw back around 2630, if you remember, back in the middle of November. Areas of consolidation that have and continue to form at higher and higher levels. So very supportive of Alan's bullish approach towards trading this one. Let's take one more step back here as we look at a 4-hour candle chart. And this is what I like about looking at these areas of value, Nicole. For one, they help us see trend. For two, they help us see when trend is no longer present. GM had been trending lower. In the instance we were talking about Ford, right? GM exhibited some conviction to the upside, but not only conviction to the upside. Ford was unable to take out 13. Look what GM has done through 31, 33, and again, holding around this 35, 36 level. So I'd agree. GM definitely very bullish. I think Ford, I'd have to push back a little bit on that one still. But this one, again, bullish, bullish, bullish on 3 separate time frames if you're looking at shares of General Motors.
All right, thank you for that. I mean, are you a fan overall of the automakers, Alan? And now people are looking more to Tesla, again, back for the EVs, now that the big three have backed off the EVs a little bit. I mean, what's your outlook on this group?
Well, yeah, I like what I see, and I like the fact that these stocks are beaten down, inexpensive, have great risk reward. Again, it's 50% off the 2022 top. A pop of this range that we've been in targets 50. And so there's a lot of upside potential in both these stocks. And I'm in Michigan again. So yeah, I'm towing the company line right now.
All right, good to know. Last but not least here, Pfizer is on your radar. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Ben's not going to agree with anything I say, so you can turn off his mic. Pfizer's trading around 29 and a quarter right now. It's a 6 stock. It was down 40% last year. Now, that's where I look at this as opportunity. And the way that I trade is more important than the stock in this particular instance. So if you look at it, it's been between 25 and 35 for 6 months. We're right now at that 30, or that 30 range. If we get to that midpoint, then we should pop up to the top of the range at 35. There's a lot of upside. There's gaps up above. In the big picture, I want Ben to dial out. We've been between 30 and 60 for 10 years, okay? 10 years. So let's use that 30 as a kind of pivot point, a support point to lean on. And the way to lean on it is to buy an in-the-money option, buy a 30 call. What do we have here? A 32 call I had. A 25 call. The 25 calls trading for about 475 or 5 right now. It's 450 in the money. So the expiration break even on it's 50 cents higher with almost 6 months of time. And the PE on this stock is 10. So a lot of pharma stocks, a lot of bio stocks haven't really enjoyed a good year. Moderna was a dog last year as well. Both of these were down 40%. I like the bottoming formation. I love the bullish divergence. That's my sign that the sentiment has shifted, and you're going to see these sellers that have run out of strength, and that stock can move. Now, again, a modest move in this stock can produce some big, big gains. When we talk about 35 is the range top right now. So, if that happens, just gets to the range top here of the last 6 months, this option gains what, 100%.
All right. And, a lot of folks have been coming on and picking this name so far this week, even, our guests that have been coming on. Ben?
Well, I did queue up that longer-term chart Alan asked for. I don't think it really provides a lot of clarity, but we will take a look at it. Let's begin first and foremost with the similar pattern we were talking about in terms of the other two names, high conviction on the left side of your screen. Now, this is a 5-minute candle chart, and you can see the sideways consolidation, but you can also see how we're kind of starting to leak lower, right? Giving back quite a bit of this move up. That's not what the bulls are looking for. And let me just show you here. I did try and identify an area of consolidation, but we continue to extend that to the downside right now. So I think maybe this could be a bit of a breakdown playing out before our eyes here. It looks like stock's starting to roll over after a big move up to 30. Taking a look here, stepping back, you can see that, well, this big move up has been kind of continuation of the rally we've seen off the lows around 25, 26 back in the end of, or I should say middle of December, and I went ahead and identified a couple areas of consolidation along the way up just to kind of help us map out where the market's paused and form these areas for us to reference on the way down, because while we are starting to roll over here, this still could be a buy opportunity along this trend environment to the upside here on the hourly time frame. Again, we're looking at 28.50 right now. Everything above that's still supportive of the idea that value is still moving higher, trend still continues to play out. It's pretty well defined here, bottom left to top right. But take another step back with me, and you're going to see a bit of a different pattern playing out when we pull up the daily time frame. I oftentimes like to say, when in doubt, zoom out. And I think the more you can trade the bigger picture, oftentimes the better off you are. You get shaken out of those trades that oftentimes you do if you're focused on the more intraday granular, a lot less when you're stepping back here. And it's just a lot easier to sleep at night in many ways. Taking a look, though, at this is a trend lower here. And from what I'm seeing, as long as we hold below 33, yeah, the bulls have done some heavy lifting, but they're still well below some key areas that need to get taken out before they can declare a victory. One last time, Alan, look for that, or ask for that longer-term chart here. I see the conviction to the upside. He's calling a bottom pattern. I see more of a test of a lower extreme here right now. Again, I'm not sure that this downtrend that we've been in off that high around 61, 62 has been invalidated at this point. Yeah, we did not really see follow-through below the lows from back in, what was this, the spring of 2020, but still have yet to reject this lower level as of yet, kind of hanging out around and down below 30 still. So again, bullish, I guess, on those shorter terms, but still kind of bearish on the longer term, I think.
On the longer term. And look, I mean, there's a lot of hope for pharma and healthcare, but look what happened with Walgreens today. I think a lot of folks were surprised. Final thoughts, Alan, and will you be able to sleep at night for 2024 when you're doing your portfolios?
Oh, I sleep well. My trades are lifestyle options. You saw that's a 6-month option that, I don't have to worry about the day by day or even with the week by week action because I've got limited risk. I've got plenty of time. That's got 6 months with an expiration break even 50 cents higher. So, that's those are lose no sleep options for sure that fit my lifestyle. But looking at Pfizer, it is a Dow dog. And typically you'll see some rotation into some of those. We just had the Dow make new all-time highs here. And so this is the way to position with a lower risk, a limited risk attack. And you can always put a stop loss on your option anyway. So this option I'm looking to pay, what, $475? If an option loses half of its value, either the market's gone the other way or I'm running out of time. And, you can salvage what you have and be done with it. But I'm very optimistic for the year, but the job is a little bit harder because a lot of stocks have already moved. These three big stocks, well-known, well-traded, didn't move in the last year. So I'm looking for some of that money flow, and that's what I keep track of with these options. And that's my signal that the sentiment has shifted. It's my signal that somebody sees something, and so I'm going to follow that signal.
Good to see you both. Happy New Year. Thank you. Alan Nuckman, Ben Lichtenstein, Big Three today. We appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Coming up next, we're going to spotlight medically assisted weight loss. GLP